Hello everyone, about a month ago, my teammates and I won one of the most exciting game jams here in Montreal. And trust me, this wasn't your typical online itch.io jam. This one was special. It was an in-person event, open only to college students with teams ranging from 4 to 9 members, and it happens once a year. And apparently, it's a pretty big deal. There were even food sponsors there. And get this, it was organized by a few universities and of course Ubisoft. Yes, the company behind these franchises. It's also worth mentioning that a lot of the stuff in this video is written in French because, well, Montreal. But don't worry, I will be translating everything important. It all started on a random school night when I came across a link to a university game dev Discord server. It was only a week and a half before the event and spots were very limited, meaning I had to find teammates fast before all the tickets were gone. The next morning, I sent a message in my class group saying I found this interesting game jam and was looking for people to team up with. And who would have thought that one block of French text would be the start of something great. It's also worth mentioning that this was the first game jam for over the half of our team members, and most of us had only used Perforce for version control before. And as for GitHub, so we created the GitHub repository and started practicing, pushing, pulling, and occasionally breaking the branch just to see if we could fix it. Spoiler alert, we never really figured out how to fix merge conflicts. Instead, we just made backups and rolled back whenever things went south. So, on the first day of the jam, we arrived at the spot a bit early to get comfortable and vibe with each other before everything kicked off. About an hour later, once the 19 teams were present, they started the opening ceremony, and that's when they revealed the theme. Start with nothing. But wait, here's the twist. Each team also had to pick 2 technical challenges from a list of 5. The options were make all the sounds yourself, use only 5 colors, make a multiplayer game, create a 1-level game, or make it a 1-button game. Once the theme was announced, they showed us the classrooms where we'd be working for the next 46 hours. At first, everything seemed organized. We threw around a bunch of ideas, but every time someone suggested one, someone else immediately said, wait, but what if we do this instead? So basically, we were trapped in this creative infinity loop. One idea was about a chaotic physics-based frog, another was a spooky ghost game, and after an hour of brain-melting debate, we decided to do the logical thing. Completely ignore both ideas, but we ended up naming our team Ghost Frog. As for the actual game concept, we left 2 of our teammates in charge of the concept, while the rest of us set up our workstations. About 30 minutes later, they came back with a concept that actually made sense, and not just made sense. One of the Ubisoft judges even said it had real potential. Here is the pitch. You start on a big grid with a single empty tile, which is your base. Your goal is simple. Protect your base from one angry enemy who's basically obsessed with destroying it. The enemy can only move through the tiles on the edges, and whenever it destroys one, it also damages the neighboring tiles. To survive until the timer runs out, you will need to carefully place new tiles to block its path and slow it down. But of course, nothing is free. Every tile costs money, and you've got only 3 options: water, crops, and mountains. Mountains are tough and take 2 hits to break, which make them good for defense. Crops and water, on the other hand, can be combined for bonus income. Over time, your base upgrades itself and make more money, which you can reinvest to grow your tiny patch of land into a full kingdom. If you spend too much, you will be broke. If you save too much, the enemy will attack you. Some players even found ways to generate infinite money, but only if they manage to survive first. As for the technical challenges, we decided to go with only 1 button and only 1 level game, since you only need the left mouse button to click on things. For anything related to UI, Alexander, who is one of the programmers, worked closely with our 2D artist. Not only helped with UI design, but he single-handedly implemented all the sounds and programmed the entire UI, while barely catching any sleep in the process. As for Chloe, the 3D artist, she created these beautiful tiles using Maya and Substance Painter, and she also worked on the water shader, the anglerfish enemy, and its animation. It's worth noting that we made the game in Unity, but she had no prior experience with it since she's primarily an Unreal Engine user, but she picked it up incredibly fast, and before we knew it, she was working with the shader graph and integrating her assets into the project. Elizabeth, on the other hand, who is our AI programmer, single-handedly programmed the anglerfish logic. Sometimes the anglerfish would just pass by by, other times it would attack. As for Antoine, Abdullah and me, we worked closely side by side on the gameplay mechanics. Honestly, it's hard to say who did what. The three of us were constantly collaborating. Most of the time, one of us would prototype a feature in a separate scene, another would expand on it, and the third would integrate it into the main level. We went back and forth like this until the game we have now finally came together. As you can see, this was truly a team effort. I genuinely believe that 90% of our success in winning the game jam came from how organized we were as a team. We all worked extremely hard, sacrificing our sleep for the sake of the game. Personally, I slept for just 2 hours after going 35 hours straight without sleep. Ironically, it was a Red Bull that finally knocked me out. My heart rate slowed down and then I blacked out. By the end of development, we decided we needed a video to showcase our game. Here is why. The voting system had 5 judges who work at Ubisoft Montreal, each visiting teams one by one, and we only have 5 minutes to introduce our game, let them play it, and by the end of it they will secretly write down some comments on a piece of paper and leave without actually telling us what they think. For a strategy game like ours, the best approach was clear. To give the judges a quick overview, show them a trailer, and leave them hooked enough so they could dive in and explore the game themselves. This way, we could explain the game properly while giving the judges enough time to get the hang of it comfortably. So that's exactly what we did. In the last 3 hours, Chloe took on the game trailer, Heidi the 2D artist worked on the game cover, I handled the game page, and Antoine playtested the game while listing potential bugs for Abdullah and Alexander to fix. Just 10 minutes before the jam ended, we finally managed to publish our game on the jam's itch.io page. After 46 hours of non-stop work, we were finally able to step back and take a breath. A few minutes later, the judges started visiting, one by one, playtesting our game. It was a great feeling watching them play and experiment with the tiles and react to the mechanics that we had poured our hearts into. It's crazy how every tweak we made all came down to these very precious minutes of first impressions. 2 hours later, after they had visited every single team, all the participants were invited to this huge auditorium for the closing ceremony. They started with the best art game, the best technical challenge game, and you can feel the tension building with every announcement. And finally, they got the first prize, Kingdom Tiles by Ghost Frog. That moment was surreal. All the effort we made led to this, and was it worth it? Absolutely. We had won the Ubisoft Creative Jam 2025. Looking back at this journey, it still feels like a dream, and I'm incredibly proud of my team and my performance in my very first team-based project. If you are interested in trying our game, I will leave a link in the description where you can play it. Thank you so much for making it all the way here, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.